Okay, this video is going to be a review of the timer and Photogate Lab that you'll be doing in class. It's really important that you pay attention because the information that you'll learn here in this video is going to allow you to complete the lab in a timely fashion. We're going to talk a little bit initially here about the timer and what it looks like, the different functions on it. So let's zoom in so you can take a look at this diagram. Here you can see that the timer does have several functions. It allows you to take intervals between different photogates, frequencies, periods, stopwatch, and count. The initial part of the experiment that you're going to do in class, it asks you to experiment with the stopwatch feature. And the stopwatch feature is pretty easy. You'll just click this button by the blinking lights until it gets to the stopwatch. And then you'll use the A button to start and stop the stopwatch. And this 0.0 button, you'll see up here, it's hard to read, but it says reset. You can click that to reset the stopwatch and start again. We'll be using this primarily for a lab very soon here in the future on Thursday, so it's going to be important that you understand this. It's very easy to get the hang of, so I'm not going to spend too much time explaining that. If we scroll down here, it is important that you're able to read the time on the stopwatch. So it does initially just start counting off time in seconds, but as you get above seconds, if you were to let it go longer than that, it would go up to minutes and then even hours. So that's going to be important to know. We are going to hook up the timers to Photogates. In some future labs you'll be doing this. So if we take a look at this setup, it's a pretty easy setup. The Photogates are these little U-shaped tools, and they basically have a little laser that goes across here. When you break the laser, it sends a signal to the timer to stop or start, and that's something that you'll be experimenting with in the lab. It's going to be important, though, that you set it to the correct function that it's asking for you to do in the lab. In this case, they're asking you to set it to the interval mode. So you'll click on the little button here until you get to interval, or the blinking light is on interval. You'll use the A button to check the time of the photogate that the photogate is measuring. So when you break the beam or put anything that causes the beam to stop shining across itself there, it'll actually start and stop this timer, which is important because we can pass things through it, and it'll measure the time that it took for things to pass through it for us. The good thing about that is obviously that the reaction time for using that photogate is a lot better than if we were to do it with our own site. Okay, so this is a basic breakdown of what it looks like in the photogate. There's an emitter. There's a very tiny light beam that goes across to a detector. The light beam is pretty faint and you wouldn't notice it. The status light, there'll be a little button here that shines, and that button will tell you that the photogate is working properly. We are going to also set it up to where you have two photogates hooked up. So you'll notice that we have one connection going to the little A light here, or the A output, and then you'll have one coming from into the B output. Again, we are going to set it to interval mode. Whenever you have the A light on, it's going to give you a time specific to the amount of time it took for the object to pass through photogate A. Whenever you have the B light on, it's going to give you a time for the object to pass that it took to pass through photogate B. And if you have both lights on, that's going to give you the time it took to go from A to B. And that's going to be important in helping you get through the lab, so really important that you remember that also. Really quickly, basically the timer is accurate to 0.001 seconds, but it does vary depending on how much time has elapsed. The more time that goes by, for example, if you go over 1 second, it does take off one of the significant figures here. So really important that you read through this. Again, resolution is going to mean the smallest interval that can be measured. In this case, the timer goes to about 0.0001. The word accuracy is going to refer to how close the measurement is to the true value. So obviously, if we're using the photogates, it'll be a lot more accurate than if you're doing it by sight. Measuring the time it took for a car to go from point A to point B just by sight, you're not going to get the same time measurement every time, whereas if you had used a Photogate, you'd get very accurate times there. Precision is going to be how closely you can repeat the measurements. So if we take a look at this little chart here, it has a little breakdown of that. Accuracy, again, is to get the correct value, so you can see that the arrow is here on the bullseye. To be accurate and precise means that you're hitting the bullseye and you're doing it multiple times. Precise but not accurate means that you're hitting the same spot with your measurements. The only problem is that they're not the correct measurement. So you can see that these arrows are hitting outside of the bullseye. And then if you're not precise and you're not accurate, then your values for your measurements are all over the place. And not only are they all over the place, but they're also not the correct value. Okay. Okay, that's some of the basic stuff that you'll need to know to do a good job on the lab. Just make sure you come in ready to do the lab. You'll have plenty of time to finish if you've watched this video, and if you haven't, you'll have to make sure that you do your best to finish before you leave so you don't have any homework.